jeans. The city breathes below in distance, soaring dreams. I trace the lines between the Capricorn and Lyra's flame, but all I see are patterns of your name, of your name. We are constellations we can't name, just points of light, a borrowed flame, a map of scattered wonders, beautiful and vague, an masterpiece of glitter in its fade. Oh, we're a sky I cannot explain, just constellations we can't name. You said make a wish on some satellite slow climb. I wish to freeze this moment, just this fragile, stolen time. 'Cause we're not myths for mortals, we're not stories, stars align. We're just two people getting good at saying fine, at saying fine. We are constellations we can't name, just points of light, a borrowed flame, a map of scattered wonders, beautiful and vague, a masterpiece of glitter in its fade. Oh, we're a sky I cannot explain, just constellations we can't name. Is it chaos? Is it fate? This dizzy, silent, lovely way. I connect the dots you left on my skin, just for the picture to begin again and fade out. We a steady, constant beat, a quiet light against the infinite, the deep. I chart your orbit from my lonely silver steel. I know the rhythm, but I'll never know the feel. I'm synchronized, but I'm not real. I'm just a satellite heart, a cold tech marble drifting in the dark. I send my data, but I'm falling apart in the silent vacuum where the feelings start. I'm just a satellite heart, pulled by a gravity that tears me apart. I witness all your storms, your steady glow, the warmth you radiate to everything below. I burn up in a second for a chance to feel that heat, but I'm just programmed for the distance I must keep. A phantom orbit, tragically complete. I'm just a satellite heart, a cold tech marble drifting in the dark. I send my data, but I'm falling apart in the silent vacuum where the feelings start. I'm just a satellite heart, carried by a gravity that tears me apart. Is this love or just a flaw in my design? A ghost in the machine on this celestial line. A million miles of static, a single stupid spark. I'm just a piece of metal, dreaming in the dark. position, nowhere to go, just a satellite heart. Floating in the what if, the almost was, the color of the breath held too long. We were a spectrum, not a single shade, a universe of roads that we could have made. I drew the maps in hues of gold and blue, a future bright and nebulous with you, before the gravity of what was true collapsed the nebula of maybe into a single distant star. All that potential, beautiful and hazy, now it just reminds me of how far we never are. Oh, we're drifting through the dark of what's left of the nebula of a maybe, and it's beautiful, and it's breaking my heart. I miss the theories, all the might have beens, the orbital embraces, the solar winds of promises we whisper into space. Now there's just an ordinary quiet place, and the dust that settles on your face collapse the nebula of maybe into a single
The music swells cinematically strings, rise in a heartbreakingly beautiful melody, intertwined with more of those ethereal vocal layers. It feels like watching a cosmic cloud slowly dissipate. The peak fades, leaving only a sparse, echoing piano note, an alien period. You were my nebula of maybe. Now you're a single distant star. Oh, that color, beautiful and hazy, just shows me how far we never. Just dust and radio waves, a memory and a phase shift. Nebula. Maybe. The pool is ahead, the tide is a memory. My shoreline erodes with every crash and fall. I rearrange myself, I answer every call. A force I never question, a path I can't defy. I drain myself completely, with no ask of why. It's the only song I sing, the only way I know to try. But the moon forgets to see. It just hangs in ink black poetry. A cold familiar ghost for all the world to see. And it pulls a million waters with such casual gravity. Oh, moon forbids the sea, and the sea just dreams of what it means to be free. I hold your pale reflection in my darkest, deepest night. A shimmer on my surface, borrowed secondhand light. You wax and wane above me in your solitary arc. I'm just the fateful chaos where your quiet echoes mark. A vast and liquid silence, an ocean in the dark. But the moon Is this love or is this law? A beautiful eternal flaw. And the eight, you are the cause, the blister of planetary laws. And you don't even know, and you don't even know I'm here below. The fiddle takes over, soaring melancholic, Celtic tinged, soaring, longing and vast, empty spaces. It cries, it yearns, it dances with a heavy heart. The cello provides a deep, rhythmic pulse like waves. It builds to a passionate peak, then abruptly falls away. But the moon forgets the sea. It just hangs in ink black poetry. A cold familiar ghost for all the world to see. And it pulls a million waters with such casual gravity. Oh, the moon forgets the sea. And the sea is just a salty, endless memory. The tide goes out, the tide comes in. A hollow rhythm on the sand. The moon forgets. The moon forgets. But the sea and the street.
A single, clean, echoing electric bed that hangs in the air. A soft, steady drumbeat enters like a heartbeat. The sound is anticipatory, calm.
There was a color in the air that night, a vibration. The coffee went cold in the space between words. The whole world narrowed to the lines I'd overheard. A joke that I got, a glance that held a beat too long. A universe contained in a single silent song. And everything that was steady felt suddenly wrong and right. And way
future in the air. Built a city out of maybes with a tenderness so rare. For 3 suspended hours I was known and I was seen, not as I am but as the person in between. The person I could be in the glow of that green machine. And we became the aurora, the almost ribbon light in the summer dark, a collision, a temporary glowing promise that left its signature on the atmosphere of my heart. We were the aurora, the almost, a dazzling almost star. The sun had to rise, the particles disperse, the most beautiful things rehearse their own death first. Now I just scan the empty sky with a phantom sense of sight for a ghost of color. This is the aura. The music swells into a riot. Wordless crescendo layers of Chennai guitars build over the driving drums and bass. It's euphoria that can sorry but intensely be empty. The sonic equivalent of watching the lights dance. It peaks, holds for a moment of pure awe, and then begins to gently, inevitably fade. We were just the aurora, the almost ribbon light in the dark, the chemistry collision, a temporary glowing that left its signature. We were the aurora, dazzling, almost. The music dissolves, the drums drop out, just a few lingering clean guitar notes, echoing and decaying the sound of empty, quiet space returns. Static on the horizon now, a phantom limb of wonder, just the memory of a poem and the quiet after thunder. Spring rain, the cherry tree let go today in a blush of pink and white. A
final frantic ballet in the soft approving light. They carpeted the sidewalk in a temporary art, a masterpiece of fragile things right from the very start, a sweetness for the coming dark. Now they're just petals on the pavement, a fleeting, fading stain, the evidence of beauty that couldn't stand the rain. We step right over glory on our way to catch the train. Just petals on the pavement, trampled in the gray again. I tried to press one in a book, to hold the blush, to keep the hue, but in my hands it trembled like the memory of you. That perfect passing season where we blossomed bold and brief, now folded in the pages of a complicated grief, oppressed and perfumed leaf. Now they're just petals on the pavement, a fleeting, fading stain, the evidence of beauty that couldn't stand the rain. We step right over glory on our way to catch the train. Just petals on the pavement, tremble in the gray again. Is it sadder for the bloom that falls too soon, or the tree that must stand naked facing noon? I watch the street sweeper come with his indifferent broom, and I feel the coming of my own assumed doom. Now we're just petals on the pavement, a fleeting, fading stain, the evidence of beauty that couldn't stand the rain. We step right over glory on our way to catch the train. Just petals on the pavement, trampled. The rain will wash the color, the sun will bleach the gray, and nothing will be left to say, just the ghost of a bouquet on an ordinary day. Time is a curve. I am patient storm. I was all angles once, a jagged broken piece, a secret in the mountain, a trembling masterpiece. I held it 1,000 edges, I caught the sharpest light. I was a definition in the stillness of the night. Then you became the rainfall, and I began my flight. And the water does its work so slow and so complete, till every cutting corner meets a soft and sure defeat. I'm growing beautiful and useless in this ever-moving stream. I'm losing all the parts of me that dared to catch a dream. Now I'm just river stone smooth, a polished perfect sigh, a monument to erosion, 'neath the wide and empty sky. I memorize the current by the pattern of your touch. You tumble me so gently, you never ask for much. Just constant cool insistence, a never-ending flow that shapes me to your liking as the centuries go. The girl I was is sediment 100 miles below. And the water does its work so slow and so complete, till every cutting corner meets a soft and sure defeat. I'm growing beautiful and useless in this ever-moving stream. I'm losing all the parts of me that dared to catch a dream. Now I'm just river stone smooth, a polished perfect sigh, a monument to erosion, 'neath the wide and empty sky. Is this peace, or is this prison made of glass? To be so soft and let the everything just pass. I miss the jagged ache, the way I used to grip the land. Now I just slip through your fingers like water, like sand.
Water sounds continue, the cello takes over, playing a slow, mournful, and incredibly beautiful melody. It sounds like the Stones' lament, smooth, deep, resonant, sponge-snuffling piano note chimes, and occasionally like a drop of water. It feels ancient and sorrowful. And the water did its work so slow and so complete. Now every cutting corner's met its soft and sure defeat. I'm beautiful and useless in this ever-moving stream. I lost the parts of me
that dared to catch the dream. Now I'm just river stone smooth, a polished sigh, a monument smooth. Stronger than it looks and weaker than it seems. You found me in the shadow of the garden gate at dawn, a silver-strung cathedral where the morning light was drawn. I was just a pattern waiting for the sun to climb, a lonely geometric prayer suspended out of time. Then you breathed and set the universe to rhyme, and you called it dew on a spider web, a jeweled and temporary lace, a perfect trembling moment that I knew we couldn't chase, 'cause the sun is climbing steadily to claim it from its place. Just you on a a promise written on a fragile, breakable faith. We were careful with our whispers, we moved on feather-light feet, holding this impossible thing where air and moisture meet. I saw our whole reflection in each tiny liquid sphere, a double world of upside down, so brilliantly clear. And I knew the rising day would make it all disappear. And you called it temporary lace, a perfect trembling moment that I knew we couldn't chase, 'cause the sun is climbing steadily to claim it from its place. Just you on a spider web, a promise written on a fragile, breakable face. The most perfect things are pendulums, they swing from is to was, between a breath of wonder and the law of nature, 'cause physics always watch the first drop tremble and begin to unlock. The music box and harp become more intricate, playing a sad, beautiful, and frantic little duet. It feels like watching the dewdrops tremble and catch the light one last time. The melody is sweet, but filled with imminent loss. It was just dew on a spider web, a jeweled and temporary lace, a perfect trembling moment that we never got to chase. And the sun is here now, burning in its place. It was just dew on a spider web, a broken promise on a fragile face. Just a memory of diamonds in the ordinary light, a strand of silk still clinging to the fingers and the night. The long goodbye. The maple's finally empty, a skeleton of grace, a lace against the eggshell of the evening's fading face. The air has lost its sweetness, it's a crisp and clean regret, a burning in the lungs for summers we can't resurrect. We're not quite frozen yet, but we're not warm, not yet. This is the last light of October, holding its breath in gold, our final fiery brightness before the world grows jar inside our mind, that the night is in the corner, patient, pressing, kind.
Darker, bluer drone, a single pie. Creastily the third note hangs in the air like the first star appearing.
Dusk now, gray now, November.
The finest of note decays into the quiet sound of a sickle. Distant, chilly wind chime.
I wove it from the softest things I knew. Your laughter like the twine, my hope, the gentle glue. Each strand a conversation in the early morning light. My architecture founded on the future shining bright. A perfect waiting vessel cupped and tight. Now the leaves have fallen, and the sky is turned to stone, and I am left here holding what the emptiness has shown. Hollow as a bird's nest in the winter, in the snow. A careful empty promise for a song that doesn't know to come back home. I see the wind pass through me, feel the sleep begin to sting. This cradle made for fledglings is a cold and useless thing. The memory of feathers is a phantom weight of air, and every careful knot I tied is just a practice prayer to something that isn't there. 'Cause now the leaves have fallen, and the sky has turned to stone, and I am left here holding what the emptiness has shown. Hollow as a bird's nest in the winter, in the snow. galaxy in this room. Clock hand sticks on something I can't hear. Silence in the hallway is a solid standing fear. I try to trace the crack that travels down the plaster wall. A river on a map that doesn't lead to much at all. Just a destination called the place I start. But then the sun slants through the blind and turns the ordinary kind of air to gold. And I see the dust dancing in the sunbeam, a billion tiny stars in a silent streaming dream. They rise and fall on nothing with a purpose so serene. In a universe that's just this room, they're all that can be seen. Just dust dancing in the sunbeam, my only congregation in this ordinary quiet scheme. I count the motes like worries, let them settle on my skin. A constellation formed by where the light has always been. They don't ask for meaning, they don't ache to be defined. They're just a holy random fleeting beauty run aside, while my heavy planned out heart stays tangled and confined. But then the sun slants through the blind its whole vision. I heard your truck door slam in 1999. A cloud of gravel dust, a fading red tail light. You said you needed asphalt, needed room to run. I said the door's unlocked, darling, when your roaming's done. Just one small yellow promise, 'neath the moon and sun. Porch light left on, burning through the dew. A little lighthouse on a hill of quiet, waiting blue for a ship that changed its course 1,000 miles ago. Porch light left on, just for show. A habit of the heart, too stubborn to let go. This porch light left on. I've changed the bulb 100 times, it's just a thing I do. Like setting coffee for two, though I only drink for one. The neighbors think I'm forgetful, or maybe just too kind. They don't know it's a monument I'm tending in my mind to the love I left behind when I chose to stay behind. Porch light left on, burning through the dew. A little lighthouse on a hill of quiet, waiting blue for a ship that changed its course 1,000 miles ago. Porch light left on, just for show. A habit of the heart, too stubborn to let go. This porch light left on. Hope's a funny fuel, it burns so clean and slow. You don't notice you're running on fumes until there's nowhere left to go. And the wick is just a memory electric bill comes, I pay it. Some things just become what you do. Alone, resonant the slow, breathe the whisper of brushes on a snare drum. It lived on grandma's shelf behind the glass and dust, a secret held in porcelain, a quiet sacred trust. She said it held the twilight of a long forgotten June, a promise poured from fragile hope into a shallow spoon. I inherited the tremor with the tune. Now it sits upon my highest shelf, a relic and a rue. I see the tiny hairline cracks in the china blue, a map of every tremor, of every blow it caused, a perfect broken treasure that can never be bought or used for what it's for, a beauty locked in thought. These cracks in the china blue, I dust it with a held breath. I never touched its weight. It's not for tea or company, it's just a mirror of my state, a vessel too precise for the clumsy world outside, where love is just a thing you use until the glaze has died. So I keep the void inside, perfected, petrified, 'cause it sits upon my highest shelf, a relic and a rue. I see the tiny hairline cracks in the china blue, a map of every tremor, of every blow it caught, a perfect broken treasure that can never be bought or used for what it's for, a beauty locked in thought. These cracks in the china blue, what good is a cup that will never touch a lip? What good is a love too fragile for the grip? We polish the damage until it starts to shine, and call the broken places a delicate design, a coward's kind of line. Slow, smoky, and profoundly sad piano solo. It's lyrical unsophisticated and full of quiet despair. The basin brushes hold down the late night groove. It feels like the soloist is staring straight into the cracks. Yeah, it sits upon my highest shelf, a relic and a rue. I know every hairline, crack in the china blue. It's a map of every tremor, every blow it ever caught. This perfect, broken treasure that I have never bought. It's using what it's for. Just these cracks. One day I'll be brave or clumsy, and it will be what it always was, just pieces.
Take one part silence. Let it rise. Start with a slanted light on a naked floorboard. 200 square feet of a silent, settled chord. Add the distant echo from a telephone that's dead. Stir in the ghost of every word you wish you'd said. Let the emptiness expand inside your head. That's the recipe for an empty house. A quiet soul complete, it has a taste. A tablespoon of shadow in every room. A pinch of dust where laughter laid its trace. Follow the attenuate and learn the grammar of the quiet, where I is just a subject with no predicate. The guitar continues its sad, circular pattern. Alone, mournful flute enters, playing a wandering, desolate melody. It feels like a memory drifting through the empty rooms. The whistle of a distant train might pass by, underscoring the loneliness. One part silence, two parts slanted light, a tablespoon of shadow, pinch of dust, hollow of a space. That's the recipe. Still there. I washed the sheets on Sunday with salt and summer rain. I hung them in the brightness to bleach away the stain of every conversation that died before its time. I smoothed the cotton, corner tucked a disciplined pantomime of a life that's tidy, clean and mine. But when I slide to sleep and turn my head into the fold, a ghost of purple rises from the fibers that I hold. The lavender in the linen, the scent you can't erase, a soft insistent echo in this ordinary space. It doesn't speak of passion or the tears upon my face, just a quiet, dry reminder of your almost perfect grace. This lavender in the linen, in the quiet of the cave. It wasn't some grand perfume, no dramatic clinging trace, just a sachet in a drawer in that old familiar place. A subtle kind of magic to keep the moth at bay, and now it keeps your memory in the most domestic way. I change the thread, I make the bed, and still the scent will stay. But when I slide to sleep and turn my head into the fold, a ghost of purple rises from the fibers that I hold. The lavender in the linen, the scent you can't erase, a soft insistent echo in this ordinary space. It doesn't speak of passion or the tears upon my face, just a quiet, dry reminder of your almost perfect grace. This lavender in the linen, in the quiet of the cave.
playing a wistful, wandering and incredibly beautiful melody. It's the sound of the scent itself, floating, intangible, sweet and sad. The guitar provides a soft, cyclical bed. It feels like a memory drifting on a breeze through an open window.
But when I slide to sleep and turn my head, a ghost of purple rises, lavender in the linen, the scent I can't erase, a soft insistent echo in this ordinary space, just a quiet, dry reminder of your almost perfect grace.
Maybe next spring I'll grow new herbs. Maybe time will have the right verbs. But for now, the sun warms the cotton, and the ghost is still there, breathing.
Saturday afternoon.
2 velvet curtains.
We bought 2 tickets for the 3:15, a double feature, black and white and serene. The dust motes danced in the projector's beam, and for 2 hours life was just a dream. A perfect silence, silver woven scene. You held my hand in the dark and in between. Then the credits started rolling up in golden cursive script. A final perfect kiss before the sound of reality slipped back in a matinee fade out. A gentle, soft goodbye, not a tragedy, just a beautiful lie that had to end beneath the brighter sky. A matinee fade out, catching the light in your eye. We spilled into the lobby, blinking in the sun, the magic clinging lightly to what we had done. We didn't speak of futures or things we'd left behind. We'd shared a borrowed story, beautifully designed to leave no marks or echoes on the mind. Just the after image, gentle and kind. Then the credits started rolling up in golden cursive script. A final perfect kiss before the sound of reality slipped back in a matinee fade out. A gentle, soft goodbye, not a tragedy, just a beautiful lie that had to end beneath a brighter sky. A matinee fade out, catching the light in your eyes. Some loves aren't meant for the outside air. rocking chair. And when the usher comes to sweep the aisles clean, you have to let the ending be what it's always been. A perfect, contained in silver screen, a memory that's permanently evergreen.
The Wurlitzer melody returns, now crowded by a slow brush drum beat and a walking bass line. It swells into a small cinematic crescendo, the sound of a film's climax. Then it begins to fade, the notes becoming slower and more sparse, making the film running out.
Then the credits roll, in golden script. That final perfect kiss before the real world. Soft rock and an any fade out, a gentle soft goodbye. Not a tragedy, just a beautiful lie that ended beneath the brighter sky. And that may fade out.
The music fades to just the Wurlitzer, playing single, spaced out notes. A sound effect, the clunk whir of an old film projector being shut off. House lights up. The show is over. Go home. The final, lingering note from the Wurlitzer decays into the sound of an empty fader. A distant door, closing, and silence.
Driving, jangly indie rock of Rip Steady. It was a small, italicized detail on page 224.
You were the hero with the highlighted spine, a story full of passages I wished were mine. I was a comma in your epic, sprawling phrase, a quiet observation in your brilliant sunlit days. I knew my place within the complicated maze of your bibliography of ways.
someone else's sky. A bit of extra context that you barely had to look to understand the heroes, how and why. When you close the cover at the end, you know you'll never flip back just to see where I might go. I was just a footnote. The sequel's out now. I'm not in it. I hope it reads well. I really do. We found that record in a dusty downtown crate, a forgotten folk gem from 1978. You said it matched the color of my autumn hair. We danced on scratched hardwoods in the cool night air. A perfect private world beyond compare. For 3 whole sides, I forgot every care. Well, there's a vinyl skip in the second song, a perfect groove that our memory got wrong. It catches on the damage, repeats the same sad phrase. A perfect night forever in a haunted, glitching haze. I can hear the melody for the loop it plays. There's a vinyl skip in our second song, and it won't go away. The song was about wanderers finding home at last, a future written in the present and the past. But right before the chorus, where the key should lift and rise, there was a fight, a careless word, the anger in your eyes. A 2-minute Cold War under domestic skies, a crack in the foundation, a painful small surprise. 'Cause there's a vinyl skip in the second song, a perfect groove that our memory got wrong. It catches on the damage, repeats the same sad phrase. A perfect night forever in a haunted, glitching haze. I can't hear the melody for the loop it plays. There's a vinyl skip in our second song, and it won't go away. I've tried to lift the needle, gently place it past the scar, but my mind's own turntable won't let me move that far. It's etched into the master, this tiny fall line, a perfect diamond scratched along the seam. The skip is part of the song now, the beauty and the crime. There
perfect room and read God wrong. It catches on the damage, repeats the same sad phrase. A perfect night in a glitching haze. I can hear the melody, just the loop it plays. He's I still play the record. I know exactly when it's coming. I brace for it. And every time, it hurts. A single, resonant note on a piano, allowed to decay another note, a minor third down. The space between them is filled with silence. The sound is clean, classical and profoundly empty. Not blue, not gray. Something else. The sky was not a canvas, it was watercolor wet. A bruise of peach and yellow with a violet silhouette. The clouds were not like cotton, they were gauze upon a wound. The light was not like honey, it was something that was tuned to a frequency of ending, a descending afternoon. And I have tried to mix it on a palette made of words, a dab of longing, distance, and the crying of the birds. But the color of leaving is a pigment without name, a shade that exists only in the moment it became the backdrop of your figure walking down the lane, the color of leaving a stain I can't explain. It wasn't in your jacket or the dust your footsteps raised. It wasn't in the shadow that the telephone pole phrased. It was in the quality of air, the softening of sound, the way the world drained outward from a center where I stood grind. A specific tint of quiet that I have never found again. And I have tried to mix it on a palette made of words, a dab of longing, distance, and the crying of the birds. But the color of leaving is a pigment without name, a shade that exists only in the moment it became the backdrop of your figure walking down the lane, the color of leaving a stain I can't explain. If I could trap that wavelength, hold that particular light, would it teach me how to name the ache or just to see it right? To understand that beauty is the symptom of the fade, the first and final pigment that the masterpiece was made to frame,
impressionistic, like Debussy or Eric Satie. It's not a strict melody, but a series of beautiful, uncolored and unresolved chords that ripple and cascade. It feels like trying to paint with sound, searching for the exact color. It rises, falls, and dissipates. I tried to mix it on a palette of words, the longing, distance, the crying of birds, but the color of leaving has no name. It just was the backdrop of your figure walking away. The color of leaving. It fades. Of course it fades. The eye adjusts. The world is just the world. Let us sing of the second fiddle, the fired leaf on the clover. You pour the coffee while the leaves debate their fate. You hold the door, you calibrate the weights. The spotlight finds the hero with the perfectly timed grin, while you're the one who subtly moves the scenery in. A master of the quiet, of the almost unseen spin. Your story's in the margins where the truest tales begin. This is a ode to a side character, the keeper of the keys, the mender of the scar. Your subplot is a novel that they never bother reading, a constellation of your own, a private rich proceeding. While the main thread takes its bow, you are quietly succeeding at being beautifully, specifically, humanly needing. This is an ode to a side character. You're the one who makes the story real. You have a favorite bookstore and a scar upon your knee from a childhood incident with a falling maple tree. You know the name of every bird that gathers in the park. You carry constellations in your eyes when it gets dark. You're a universe of details that the narrative won't mark. But you are the emotion, you're the contrast, you're the arc. This is an ode to a side character, the keeper of the keys, the mender of the scar. Your subplot is a novel that they never bother reading, a constellation of your own, a private rich proceeding. While the main thread takes its bow, you are quietly succeeding at being beautifully, specifically, humanly needing. This is a ode to a side character. You're the one who makes the story real. What is
to a side character. You are the one who makes this whole thing real. The credits roll. Your name is there in small font, but it's there and your story continues past the end.